Hey yo, what's up, trader? Okay, so today actually I'm going to share yet another what if scenario. In this case, it could be a little bit bearish, more bearish than what I've shared the earlier one, which was more on the rolling back of the tariff, right? So today is actually on deeper global recession that will be triggered by this tariff. So let's move on. All right, so let's look at this. What if the trade war actually triggers deeper global recession, right? Of course, the potential trigger now we want to go through is that it could be the compounded tariff that suppresses all these trades, the global trade, and all that between the EU, the US, and the China and every other country, right? And then also there would be a significant drop in the consumer and business confidence, and also the other trigger is that the investment freezes. People are not sure about what will be the future in that sense, and then they are more skeptical or more reserved in investing on the long run or in the midterm. So yeah, they will be very puzzle what will be happening. Then these are the potential trigger, and then of course what will be the economic effects, right? The economic effect will be, of course, there will be sharp drop in trades. People will be, let's say, trading by a group or en bloc and things like that, and then yeah, the investment will drop, and of course recession will also be in play for some of these major economy if, let's say, things get much worse. Okay, so next thing is since I'm in the Singapore, I would like to share, like, if let's say this thing is happening in Singapore, what will actually happen. And as we all know, after the tariff announcement by the US side, right, the Singapore Prime Minister actually came out to actually address to the public, I mean to the masses, to tell us what to be basically to be prepared for the worst. Or yeah, because Singapore is actually very much dependent on the trade, and if I'm not wrong, he mentioned about, yeah, things like Singapore actually depend on the trade, which is like three times of this its GDP. And then of course foreign direct investment will be a factor, that's for sure. And then in terms of the broad sector impact, that will be another thing. And then of course there will be high recession risk, because like I mentioned, trade is actually one of the most important blood line in Singapore, right? And okay, so that will be the stuff that will be impacting to Singapore. And then in terms of the Singapore dollar, right, of course MAS will have a lot of things to do in terms of like balancing the currency and all that, because Singapore, if you all know that for MAS they actually control the Sing dollar in a band, which I also mentioned in one of the video that I've created about this MAS band. They will tend to shift out and shift down this band in order to yeah, better suit the various market volatility and also its environment, different market environment. Okay, so that's for another whole new video if, let's say, we're going to talk about that. But yeah, anyway, the impact is that also definitely the Singapore dollar will be more volatile, because they need to consider about things like inflation and the impact of that to the Sing dollar. And also because Singapore imports a lot of goods and stuff from overseas, right? Strong Sing dollar or weak Sing dollar actually play a key role in the overall economy of Singapore. Okay, so that being said, what should we actually do? So of course, it is pretty much like what actually happened in the COVID times, right? Okay, of course, the upskilling, it's not like waiting for crisis, then you go and upskill, but nevertheless, anytime possible, you need to think of a way to, let's say, earn more side income, maybe in terms of trading, forex trading, or investment, or all that, or upskilling in terms of like upskilling yourself so that you become more valuable to your employer. Okay, if you are, let's say, employed by someone. Okay, so that in terms of like if there's market turmoil and all that, you can be more I mean, you can be less susceptible to all these changes, and also be more prudent in terms of your financial planning. Okay, so yeah, let's say cut down on the unnecessary spending and those high ticket purchases. And also of course, the same on the same note, avoid discretionary spending. Okay, so these are the things that what we can look at if let's say something like this happen, which is the trade war that actually trigger a deeper global recession, right? Okay, so if you do find this information useful, give me a thumbs up. Thank you.